Lots of people have asked lots of these questions, so they're answered here. Eating junk food is balanced by fasting in the month of Ramadan. That's a myth. If you fast in the month of Ramadan and eat junk food, it doesn't balance because you're fasting. Medically, it's completely false. Number two, food wastage is normal in the month of Ramadan. It should not be wasted. Because Allah says in the Quran, don't waste and don't be excessive. إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينَ. Whoever wastes or spends in excess is the brother or sister of shaitan. Number three, binge eat from iftar to suhoor is okay. It's not okay. Some people say, oh, you know what? I've broken my fast. I'm going to have something now. I'm going to go and pray Maghrib, come back and eat more. And then I'm going to eat something before I go to Taraweeh. I've done 20 rak'ah of prayers. I've burnt all the food that I have. All muscles are exercised and engaged. I need to eat more before I go to sleep. And then wake up at suhoor and have a 3-course meal and then go to sleep. You have binged, eaten whole day and whole night, is not very healthy for you. Rasulullah would break his fast with a date, glass of milk at best. And have a date and a glass of milk at best for suhoor. I'm not suggesting that's what we should do. Don't misunderstand me. You don't have to do that. You can eat more, but just be careful. Binge eating is very bad for your health. Number 4, it is okay to delay iftar and make suhoor quicker. No, it's not okay to delay iftar. The sunnah of Rasulullah is the other way around. Have iftar immediately. Do not delay iftar. As soon as the adhan is given, eat and then pray. Some people say, okay, let's eat. Let's break our fast, pray and then eat. That's not the sunnah, by the way. You can do that for convenience's sake, I understand. But usually when you do that, you end up eating a lot more. When you eat, break your fast, eat properly and then pray, is the sunnah of Rasulullah. And when it comes to suhoor, eat your suhoor last minute of suhoor. When you hear the adhan going off and if you've got food in your mouth, what should you do? Should you throw it and rinse your mouth? No, the sunnah of Rasulullah is finish what you're eating. Even what's on your plate, finish it. Don't leave it, finish it, because wastage is wrong. Adhan is gone. Some people say, astaghfirullah, 10 minutes before adhan, I must stop eating. That's not the sunnah. Sunnah of Rasulullah is eat all the way until the time of suhoor, when adhan is gone. Number 5, you can fast without intention. Rasulullah said, if you're doing an obligatory fast, you should make an intention. Even if it is just saying, I will fast tomorrow, inshallah. Now, some people say, therefore, suhoor becomes important. You wake up. You should wake up because you have to pray Fajr. Or are you going to sleep through Fajr in the month of Ramadan? You won't. So you'll wake up. If you're going to wake up for Fajr, wake up at the earliest hour of Fajr, just before Fajr begins, a glass of water and a date. That's not going to kill you. Have something, because it will really provide you the thing that you need. Number 6, Taraweeh prayer is an obligation. It's not. Muslims fast, month of Ramadan, they pray Taraweeh. Wonderful. May Allah bless them. May Allah keep that practice going. We all want to do that. But some Muslims don't understand that they give more importance to Taraweeh than the Fard prayer. They come to the masjid for Taraweeh, but they will not come to the masjid for 5 daily prayers. And that, my brothers and sisters, is very dangerous and very detrimental to the obligation that Allah has set for all of us. Pray 5 daily prayers. Taraweeh is not an obligation. How many Taraweeh should we pray? How many rak'ah? How many? 8, 20, 10, 12. Pray as many as you like. It's not an obligation, remember? Logic is, it's not an obligation. 4 rak'ah, no problem. Anyone can do 2 rak'ah, no problem. You can do 10 rak'ah, no problem. 20 rak'ah, no issue. You can do as many as you like, as long as you're not breaking your back and causing yourself any harm or trouble. Taraweeh is not an obligation. Number 7, if you accidentally eat while fasting, is your fasting valid? Accidentally, you have taken a glass of water. You have swallowed it. Is your fasting valid? Yes. Accidentally, if you eat food while fasting, your fasting is valid. Do you need to make it up afterwards? No, logically, if it's valid, why do you need to make it up? If you intentionally eat, then you need to make it up. And the intentional has consequences. If somebody intentionally breaks the fast, how many fasts do they need to do to compensate for it? Anyone knows? 3 months, that's long. 60 fasts for each fast that you miss. Imagine how many fasts you'll have to do. So don't miss the fast. I just recommend don't miss it. But accidental eating doesn't break your fast. Is it prohibited to brush your teeth while fasting? The smell of your breath is sweeter than the musk in the eyes of Allah. In the eyes of Allah, yes, but not for the humans. Your breath may not be as sweet. Allah, alhamdulillah, He is the most kind, most merciful. He may tolerate your breath, no problem. But other human may not. Why put them through the hardship? Brush it, my brothers and sisters. It's perfectly allowed. Some people think the stinkier their breath, the better their fast is. No. That's not the sunnah of Rasulullah. Prophet used to carry a toothstick in his pocket. By the way, when you do carry a toothstick in your pocket, please be careful. You're living in a different country, in a different culture. We brush our teeth inside the bathroom. You don't brush your teeth in the underground or as you're walking down the street. So if you're doing siwak, just be careful. There are people outside, they're watching you thinking, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he brushing his teeth outside? You're culturally causing trouble for other people. It's not a problem doing siwak. Do it privately. In your own room, in your own house, inside the car, in your office, no problem, as long as others are not being challenged, because you're imposing something unnecessarily on people. Brushing is the sunnah, not the siwak. Not the tool. You can use Oral-B if you like, or Braun, or whatever company you have. One of those electrical toothbrush will do the job. But you can also use the toothsticks, not a problem. Just remember this. But brushing your teeth does not break your fast, and you should brush it, because that's better for you, more hygienic for you and for people around you. Of course, you're not going to swallow toothpaste or anything else in that process. Just rinse it and that's fine. Yes?
Is there anything such as it's not recommended to brush excessively?
There is nothing excessive about it.
Using Oral-B.
It doesn't matter. You can brush your teeth twice, 3 times, even 5 times if you like. Rasulullah said, I would have asked you all to brush your teeth before every prayer if I didn't think it would be hard for you. That's how conscious Prophet of Allah ﷺ was about our oral hygiene. That's just how smart was the Prophet of Allah. All of our teeth, when you go to the dentist, what do they say? Pluck here, hole there, food stuck between your teeth, whole of your dinner is inside your teeth. Sometimes the dentist would say, it's because we've not been looking after our teeth. Prophet ﷺ's teeth was absolutely impeccable all the way until he died. His wife narrated, and the companion said it was impeccable because he brushed his teeth regularly. So whether you're fasting or not fasting, it's fine. Some scholars say using toothpaste reduces the strength of your fast. Actually, as long as you rinse your mouth, you're fine. Because you're not eating, you're not swallowing what you have in your mouth, you've rinsed it. Number 8. Number 9, as a cook, you cannot taste food when fasting. That's also a myth. Now, there is a difference between tasting and eating. I hope you know the difference. When you take a spoon and you take a little bit on your tongue, tasting does not mean you swallow it. Outside the month of Ramadan, you can of course swallow it. No problem, you should. Don't throw it away. But in the month of Ramadan, you just put it at the tip of your tongue and you know the taste. And if that's a problem for you, give it to somebody who can, without swallowing it. There are people who can't taste it at the tip of their tongue. So, tasting is fine in the month of Ramadan, not swallowing it and not eating it, especially if you're cooking. Number 10, you should spit while fasting to avoid swallowing your saliva. That's the most disgusting habit one can have. Walking around constantly spitting left, right and center. I've seen that in many of the developing countries, especially in these countries, you will be pretty badly told off. Please don't spit. Your saliva is a very natural part of your mouth's natural process of keeping it lubricated. If you have ever experienced a parched throat and absolutely dry mouth because there is no water, you would know how difficult it is to cope with no saliva in your mouth. So don't spit at all. Spitting is not necessary at all when you're fasting in the month of Ramadan or any time outside. 11, while fasting, wearing perfume is not allowed. Wrong again. You are allowed to wear perfume. Of course, you should wear perfume because perfume is one way of keeping your body odor in control. Some of our body odors need more control than others. Rasulullah was always conscious of this. There is a brother, subhanAllah, such a beautiful brother. He does it every time I go to this mosque in West Ealing. He sells perfume. Every couple of months, he comes up to me, Salaam alaikum, and between his hand and my hand, I feel a little bottle. And he gives it to me as a gift every couple of months. And I say to him, why do you do that? He goes, because I love perfume. And you're the Imam, I love it for you too. And I give you as a gift. And he sells it to everybody. Such a beautiful habit we have in our community. When you come to the mosque, people will share their perfume and they'll pass it around. It's a beautiful thing to do. But be careful. Some people can't take certain perfumes. Some people, when the perfume you put on their skin, they get allergic reaction. Some people can get headache, migraines. So when you do pass on the perfume to somebody else, don't get upset if they say, really sorry brother, I can't. Don't get upset, it's okay. Pass it to the next person. For example, I can't take oud, the solid oud, I get headache straight away. But everything else is fine. I have a brother a friend who is literally allergic to perfume. You put it on his skin, rushes on his face. And people don't know, but obviously out of the kindness and generosity, they're sharing. While perfume is important, it is the sunnah, sharing it is good, just be careful about people around you. Where was I? Number 12. Kissing your spouse while fasting will break your fast. It won't. It doesn't. And Rasulullah said that very clearly. Number 13. You cannot have marital relationship during Ramadan. Yes, you can after the fasting hours over. Number 14. A wet dream will break your fast. It's incorrect to suggest that. It doesn't. You just need to have a shower to be able to pray, but the fasting is fine. You cannot fast without performing the obligatory ghusl. Again, that is not true. You can start fasting and you can have your ghusl afterward. You can't pray without ghusl, but you can start your fasting without ghusl. Number 16, you cannot fast without an obligatory ghusl after having a sexual relationship. Again, that's not true. You can't pray, but you can have a ghusl before prayer. Number 17, making dua at iftar is not important. Many fail to take advantage of the moment of acceptance of dua. And Rasulullah said, du'as are accepted at certain times, and this is one of those times. When you're breaking your fast, food is in front of you, and you're there, and you're waiting, and you're asking Allah, Ya Rab, forgive me. And Allah is saying, oh, my servant is looking at his food, and he's not eating his food, because he loves me and my command. He's conscious of my presence. He is not touching the food. Allah accepts the dua when you're making it, just before iftar. So don't neglect that. It's a very beautiful time to make dua. Point number 19, you should force your children to fast. No, never force anyone to fast. You train them from earlier age. You encourage them to fast, but never force them. No one should force anyone to do anything. In Islam, it's about conscious habit. You teach your children and inshallah they'll be fine. Point number 20, time is easily wasted while fasting. Many waste their time in the month of Ramadan. Please do not waste your time in the month of Ramadan watching television, playing games, scrolling through social media, chatting on WhatsApp, or browsing on the internet. Point number 21, your fast is broken if you bleed. It does not break your fast. Non-deliberate bleeding from any part of your body does not break your fast unless it is menstrual blood or unless the quantity is so significant that it could cause the person physical illness. And that's when you need to think about the fast itself. Point number 22, having a blood test would nullify your fasting. Again, incorrect. It doesn't nullify your fasting when you take a blood test in the month of Ramadan while you're fasting. Point number 23, vomiting while fasting would break your fast. This is untrue. Unless, however, you induce vomiting deliberately, your fast will break. Involuntary vomiting doesn't break your fast. But if you induce it, then it does break your fast. Point number 24, taking an injection is not allowed while fasting. Again, a medicinal injection into the muscle or a vein does not break your fast, because the medicine substance does not enter your belly. Rather, it seeps into the body through the skin and the muscles. However, if the injection is a replacement food, then it does. Then you cannot, because it's nourishment. Any nourishment of food nature will break your fast. Number 5, in fact, if somebody is so unwell, they should not be fasting. Simple. Allah says that in the Quran. If you're traveling and not well, don't fast. Point number 25, having a vaccination is not allowed while fasting. Again, that's not correct. Taking vaccination is no different to taking an injection. It's allowed. Using nasal spray or inhaler will break your fast. Again, incorrect. You can take a nasal spray or an inhaler, especially if you're asthmatic. Asthma is when your lung has become, reacted to some allergy, pollen, or something has happened and you're no longer able to breathe properly, unaided. So if you take an inhaler, opens up your lungs pores, you're not eating the food, is perfectly allowed to regulate your asthma or your allergy using a nasal spray or inhaler. And that's been discussed and debated by scholars, and they've established that quite categorically. Number 27, you should not fast during pregnancy. Again, you can fast during pregnancy. It depends on the situation of your pregnancy, the stage of your pregnancy, and your medical doctor's opinion. Please speak to a doctor who understands, who has got sympathy towards Islam, and consult. If your health is not going to permit, Allah has already given you exemption. Point number 28, I must fast no matter what. That's not true. One should not fast if they're not well, if they're traveling, and a woman who is in a menstrual cycle. Only the woman who is in a menstrual cycle is given exemption and make up, and also somebody who's traveling and sick, they can make up. But it's not that you have to fast no matter what happens. You've been given dispensation. But 29, I do not really need to make up for the missed fast. That's not true. If you have missed fast, must make it up. If you can't make it up, you must give kafara or fidya. Kafara is a penalty. Fidya is expiation where you have been not well, you can't fast, and it's a condition, so you give the amount. So for example, you feed one person you feed a person for a day for a fast that you have missed, if you've got exemption. An example, somebody has got a medical condition. They can never fast. Every year, they just give food to somebody for 30 days. That does the job. My mother, when she was not well and very elderly, I told her, don't fast. We'll give fidya for you. When my father, for the last 10 years of his life, he was not even conscious. In other words, he was suffering from dementia. He did not know what was going on. We paid fidya for him. However, if you deliberately break your fast or not keep fasting, then you have to give kafara, which is a lot more than fidya. Number 30, fasting is bad for you. Or that is the most unscientific statement of all statements. Fasting is brilliant for you. Fasting has been prescribed by doctors, and we are now seeing the benefit of fasting. Every 2 days a week will do an immense amount of good to your body and to your system. So brothers and sisters, those 30 points I have done are the basics. Often people ask questions. I thought we do them, we print them, and you take them with you and you share it with people. I'll share the PDF on our WhatsApp group as well. And this talk will also be shared for those who couldn't make it. Any questions, last one or two, and then inshallah we'll finish for today with food at the back. Any further questions from anybody else? My sister, go ahead.
I know you say perfume is allowed for men. Is it allowed for women?
I knew somebody was going to ask that question. Is perfume allowed for women? There is a debate going on amongst the scholars. Everybody agrees that Scholars are saying that, so for example, odorless body deodorants or something like that, nobody argues, it's fine. There are lots of them available. For example, salt. Nowadays they use salt, underarm roll-on. It's not an issue. Scholars disagree whether you can use the fragrant one or non-fragrant one. One group of scholars say you can, another group of scholars say you can't. I cannot only give you one opinion on this issue, because there are two opinions. And because there are two opinions, you should know both. However, everybody says the one that does not have fragrance to it is fine. Some people will say, what's the point of me wearing it then? But I thought I'll give you all the opinions in existence, and then you can choose whichever one you want to follow. Does that answer you? It doesn't help, I know, but it answers.
The reason is because they said if women wear a perfume that's smelly, it becomes the same.
Men can wear a perfume and women can smell it too.
Yeah, that's what I asked.
Yeah, I agree.
If you wear perfume, man can smell it, it's haram.
Look, I don't want to give you one opinion. There are two opinions on this issue. Some scholars say it's okay, some scholars say it's not okay. Now you need to make a choice. In Islam, and this is the problem we have, don't try and straitjacket when there are diversity. Don't try and make a single opinion when there are more than one. I always will give you both opinions. I'm giving you both. You choose whichever one you want to follow. I saw another hand. Brother Masroor, how are you doing? Are you all right?
There are plenty of people who are diabetic, so they need to have their eyes put properly. Plenty of people who does that break their fast.
So is it to do with diabetes, did you say? Yeah. So if somebody is diabetic and they have to take insulin, for example, or eye drop. Okay. Again, it depends on the nature of the eye drop. Some eye drops, once put on your eye, immediately vaporize and don't go into your system through your esophagus, right? Scholars don't disagree with that one. They say it's fine. But there are some that goes in your eyes, but you can taste it all the way through your mouth. Scholars say it's a problem. But some scholars say it's not a problem. But everybody agrees, insulin for a diabetes, it's fine. You can take insulin injection and carry on. So if you have to take medication, find an alternative way so it doesn't necessarily cause you trouble. But if the problem is with the eye, then there are also medication that immediately works on your eye rather than going into the rest of the body. So it's more localized. Yes, go ahead.
You can put a finger over your eye, over the corner, put your bread into your throat.
Okay, so there are ways. Can you see there are always ways? I know one brother who suffers from, he has to take 3 tablets a day. In Ramadan, he has already made an arrangement with his doctor. His doctor gives him a slightly more powerful one, so he takes 1 tablet at suhoor, and he's done. So you can always consult with your doctor. With medical issues, don't consult an imam only. Take an opinion from an imam, but go and consult your doctor, because medical doctors are more aware of the world of medicine than the imams would. We can give you the Sharia principle, but as long as our knowledge is sufficient to give you one. If somebody doesn't have that knowledge, then they shouldn't. So I would say, consult the doctor and make sure you make the right decision, and make sure if you need to alter your medication, do it now. You've got 10 days before Ramadan. Is it 10 days or something to that effect? Maybe less than 10 days. Make sure you call up your doctor's surgery and get the alteration for your medication. If you are going to be needing that alteration, do it now. Any other questions from anybody else? Last and the final question. Yes, my brother, go ahead.
If you miss a prayer during your fast, does your fast become invalid?
Good question. If you miss a prayer during the month of Ramadan while fasting, does your fast become invalid? No. Because prayer is a separate obligation to fasting. Fasting on its own is an obligation.
So if I miss, if not intentionally, if I miss the Asr prayer, it doesn't invalidate.
Let me make it even easier for you. If you didn't pray at all and just fasted, you will get the reward for fasting.
Okay.
If you pray, of course you'll get reward for prayers. And if you don't pray, of course you'll be questioned on the day of judgment for missing your prayers. But these are separate actions. They can't be put together in one. It is silly. Somebody who fasts in the month of Ramadan doesn't pray at all. Quite silly, isn't it? Because logic says, you're fasting for Allah. You're not fasting for anybody else. Why would you not listen to Allah who says pray too? But we're humans. I know people who fast in the month of Ramadan, but don't pray at all. I've asked them, I can't force them. We make dua that Allah makes them understand the importance of it, but the clarity is it doesn't invalidate your fasting at all. However, if you backbite and slander and gossip, that's a problem. It doesn't invalidate your fast, but it reduces the weight of your fast. It's very important to understand the difference. It doesn't invalidate your fast. In other words, you don't have to make up another one, or you won't be punished for missing a fast. But you certainly have reduced the weight of your fast. You've got nothing out of it except hunger and starvation. It's not worth indulging in those things. Any other thoughts? It's time to call it a night or day, inshallah. My brothers and sisters, look, it's been a fantastic 11 months waiting for the month of Ramadan to come. For I love Ramadan, then I don't have to worry about food. Some of you may be thinking that's pretty weird, but all of our preferences are different. Whatever it is, please make the best of the month of Ramadan. Make a plan now and try and implement it as soon as you can. Make a plan that is practical. I will memorize the entire Quran in the month of Ramadan. Forget that plan. That's not going to work. I will memorize one verse a day, that may work. I will read 5 daily prayers, inshallah that will work. Make realistic plan that you can stick to, inshallah. May Allah enable us to prepare for the first month of Ramadan, and may Allah forgive us for our shortcomings. Anything wrong that I have said, please forgive me. I ask Allah to forgive me too. Anything good that I have said, I ask Allah to accept it. And inshallah we will see you all, hopefully in the month of Ramadan, for all prayers, especially Taraweeh. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.